When you point out that the Second Amendment was about militia service under government control, someone inevitably brings up the Federalist Papers. They'll quote Federalist 46, where Madison talks about citizens being armed against federal tyranny. Checkmate, right? Not quite. First, understand what the Federalist Papers were. They were propaganda, not in a pejorative sense, but literally, persuasive essays written to convince New York to ratify the Constitution. They were sales pitches written by people trying to win a political fight. They're useful historical sources, but they're not neutral descriptions of what the Constitution meant. Second, the Federalists were responding to anti-Federalist fears. Patrick Henry, George Mason, and others worried that the federal government's control over militias could enable tyranny. So Madison and Hamilton reassured them, don't worry, the state militias are too numerous and too armed for the federal government to tyrannize them. This was a defensive argument in a political debate, not a design principle. Third, and most important, the Federalists won. When they actually implemented the Constitution, what did they do? They passed the Militia Act, giving the federal government extensive control over state militias. Then they used those militias to suppress the Whiskey Rebellion. The anti-Federalists' fears didn't become policy. The Federalists' actual framework did. You can't cite Madison's reassurances to worried anti-Federalists while ignoring what Madison actually did when he had power. You can't quote Hamilton's theoretical musings while ignoring Washington's actual use of militia provisions. The question isn't what argument won the ratification debate. The question is what system they actually built. And the system they built concentrated militia power in federal hands, explicitly to suppress insurrections. The Federalist Papers show us what arguments the winners made to anxious skeptics. The Constitution, the Militia Act, and the Whiskey Rebellion show us what the winners actually believed and implemented. When those conflict, trust what they did.